want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Second-rate princess. Narcissists never like to be second, unless, of course, the person in front of them is the one that's being shoved over the edge of a cliff, and they escape that. But generally speaking, second is of no importance to us. We need to be first. We need to be the leader. We need to be the one that is the star of the show. And this is entirely applicable to Harry's wife. Remember, she subconsciously believes herself to be the star in the film of her life, with a perpetual soundtrack playing, a dramatic soundscape to every activity that she does. Whether it's from peeling a potato or opening the front door, she believes that everything that she does, when witnessed by something else, is something that ought to be recorded and remarked upon by human beings. She believes that she is magnificent, amazing, and, because of all of this, she ought to come first. However, Newsweek, an article by Jack Royston, tells us Harry's wife hated being a second-rate princess to Kate Middleton. Not a surprise, really. First of all, by virtue of being a narcissist, she doesn't like to come second to anybody, and particularly not the nemesis. Harry's wife hated the fact that she had to do what she was told. All narcissists hate this, of course, as this is a threat to control. And go where she was told by the palace, a staffer said in a new royal book. The Duchess of Sussex is a lovely person so long as she is never crossed, and her absolute certainty makes Prince Harry feel safe, according to Gilded Youth, released by Bite Back Publishing on February the 28th. Never heard of it, probably won't read it. But the observation that she's a lovely person so long as she is never crossed is largely accurate, but not entirely so. It's largely accurate because Harry's wife operates a facade that when she's being witnessed in public, that she will behave herself, that she's kind, supposedly compassionate, friendly, doling out the hugs, smiling at people, waving, essentially being nice. Away from the public eye, the facade doesn't matter, and therefore she will, in some instances, be unpleasant to somebody from the very beginning because she deems them to be beneath her. Underlings, people who should be doing what she wants without question. In other instances, she will approach people because they're painted white, and there will not be any unpleasantness until such time as they threaten her sense of control, either through challenge, fuel, or wounding her, and then, of course, they receive the devaluing behaviour in order to get them back into line. The supposed sugary exterior, simply a facade. Author Tom Quinn suggests friction between Harry's wife and the palace arose from the constraints the royal institution placed on the Duchess, who, according to one source, was expecting to live in Windsor Castle. This, of course, shows the level of delusion of Harry's wife, that she believed that she would be getting the biggest place to live in, that she believed that she was so important that she would live there, commensurate, of course, with her own inflated ego and the residual benefit that she believed that she was entitled to. And, of course, when somebody tells her no, that does not go down particularly well with Harry's wife, or with any narcissist. With her, she veruca salts it, stamping a cloven hoof where she demands that she gets what she wants. After all, Harry did say what Harry's wife wants, Harry's wife gets. The book quotes a staffer at Kensington Palace who remembered Harry's wife well, saying, "She is basically a very nice, smiley, super positive person," use of facade or veneer, but having always felt in control of her own destiny, and with the sort of personality that strives to be the best, i.e. her narcissism, she suddenly found herself in an institution she found she could not influence, and that assigns roles to people that do not change. She was dazzled by the worldwide fame that being a princess would bring. She loved every minute of it because of the fuel and the opportunity that it posed to enable her to control people. But she was shocked by the palace protocol, because it was a threat to control, and by the fact that she was not and never could be first in the pecking order, which also is a threat to control. She hated the constraints and the rules, because they're threats to control. She hated being a second-rate princess, because she believed that she should be first. Second to Catherine Middleton, I mean. She thought she would be living in Windsor Castle, for example, and she couldn't believe it when she and Harry were given Nottingham Cottage in the grounds of Kensington Palace. Most of all, she hated the fact that she had to do what she was told, again, threat to control, and where she was told in the endless and to a large extent pointless royal round. I don't think in the whole of history there was ever a greater divide between what someone expected when they became a member of the royal family and what they discovered it was really like. Now, this in part, of course, is interesting because Harry will have made it very clear what was expected of her, but she won't have listened. Many narcissists are poor listeners, and her own delusion would have been saying, yes, get to the bit where I get Windsor Castle, get to the bit where everybody does everything that I want, get to the bit where I can do everything that I require. She will, of course, undoubtedly have believed, as a consequence of her own low cognitive function and delusion, that she would behave like a medieval monarch, whereby everybody would bow and scrape and do everything that she wanted, and it doesn't work like that. Of course, no doubt Harry did try to explain it to her, but she won't have listened, and therefore her own delusion caused problems for her. Harry's wife and Harry went public with their relationship in 2016, but she didn't begin working as a royal until December 2017, a month after their engagement was announced. By January 2020, the couple announced they were quitting royal life, assertion of control through withdrawal, and they have since given an extensive account, and boring the arse off the world, of how it all went wrong. Harry accused family members of briefing the media about them, paranoia, and said the royals did not do enough to help the couple in their conflict with the British press. Pity play by proxy. However, it was also clear from Harry's book, that there were deep-seated conflicts behind the scenes, including with palace staff, who he appears to have some negative feelings. The palace staff are quoted in Gilded Youth suggest Harry's wife was treated in a slightly condescending way because she was not a blood royal. It might actually be the case that she was, and of course that also would be challenge fuel and a threat to her control. The courtier said, Kate had to put up with the same thing, but she was better at dealing with it, because she does not have Harry's wife's messianic tendencies, and she used charm and patience to get people on her side, rather than try to hector them into being nice to her. This, of course, shows the contrast between the Princess of Wales and Harry's wife. Harry's wife has no charm. Princess of Wales does. Princess of Wales has emotional empathy. She also has empathic traits, which she naturally uses in order to get people on side. Harry's wife bludgeons people, pesters them, harangues them, insults them. The thing to remember is that there is no limit to Harry's wife's ambition, and like most fiercely ambitious people, she never thinks, have I got this wrong? Am I overreacting? Indeed, fair observations, which are of course all applicable to her because of her narcissism. But it remains true that she is a lovely person. No, she isn't. That's just entirely false, so long as she's never crossed. For a weak boy unsure of himself like Harry, she's perfect, because her absolute certainty makes him feel safe. Or rather, his addiction is catered to by her presence because she is the one that leads and therefore he can follow, making him feel safe. Meanwhile, a former Kensington Palace aide, described as working closely with Harry's wife, told the author, Harry's wife completely buys into the idea that Princess Diana, no Diana Princess of Wales, was unfairly treated by the press and hounded to death by them. She sees herself as being treated in the same way and for similar reasons. Pity play, mirroring, character trait acquisition. This is the glue, or a large part of it, that keeps Harry's wife and Harry together. They feel that it is the two of them against a cruel world, the folie à deux that has been created by Harry's wife, and that their battle isn't just for them, it's for everyone who's been badly treated by the press. Fake white knight syndrome, grandiosity. They can't do anything without feeling it has global significance, magical thinking, grandiosity. Harry was never like this before he met Harry's wife. He has no ideas of his own. He's a thicko. He rarely, if ever, spoke about global warning. He was a sort of Tim Nice but dim character who liked getting pissed with his army and Eton friends, did a bit of shooting and fishing, and was otherwise undistinguished, but also happy. Tim Nice but Dim was a character in the 1990s UK sketch comedy show Harry Enfield and Chums, who was posh and friendly but not very clever. Describes a poison atmosphere at Kensington Palace and the private office they shared with Prince William and Kate, but Harry blames it on staff his brother brought in from the government. Meanwhile, he wrote, in the midst of all of this, Harry's wife managed to remain calm. Despite what certain people were saying about her, I never heard her speak a bad word about anybody or to anybody. On the contrary, I watched her redouble her efforts to reach out to spread kindness, evidently written by Harry's wife, because she will repeatedly badmouth people to Harry as part of the smearing that she engages in by way of an indirect assertion of control. So another book which raises various revelations about Harry's wife, which certainly shows us how she behaves, and as always I'm able to fill in the gaps for you by explaining what that means vis-a-vis her narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.